Good morning, all. I'm back here in Ireland after a recent trip to Malta to lead a small tour group and to also do some filming for some upcoming Beyond 313 films. I'm also going to be remaking the Occult Malta film, although it's got a lot of hits. I think it's like over a quarter of a million at this point. I wasn't happy with it because didn't have enough footage to work with, and I was also learning the art of filmmaking. So I didn't really know what I was doing. So I want to make it in the same quality, remake it with a different title of the same quality and with more content in the same, say it's similar to the H.P. Lovecraft film Beyond Room 313. Now, what this video is about giants. I'm absolutely convinced now that from the recent trip to Malta, the giants did exist, and I don't believe they were us in a larger size or things were smaller and we were still the same size. I actually believe that they were a different species, and the human relationship with them was sort of similar to the human relationship with pets. There seems to have been the when the Neolithic people encountered the giants in places such as Malta, they were not dangerous or anything like that, and the humans didn't fear anything from them. And the human relationship with them seems to have been, from what I can tell, almost like people would have it like pet type animals. Now, that's not to say they were less than. They were just they were innocent. I get the impression the giants were almost innocent, and this is why in most of the folklore, the Maltese folklore, which is what I've been really reading into in recent times, and other folklore regarding giants, is the giants are portrayed as not being very quick-witted. That doesn't mean they're not intelligent, because they obviously built these enormous megaliths in places such as Sardinia and Malta, but they were, they were not as agile both physically and psychologically as the Neolithic humans were. And some humans took them in affectionately into their hearts, and there's tremendous proof of this. And then others used them and manipulated them. Sort of like the story of humans in terms of encountering indigenous people. Whenever human beings have encountered indigenous people around the world, particularly in terms of colonialization, they'll see them as a combination of they're affectionate and kind towards, others they treat appallingly. And I think that's what happened with the giants. And eventually, for whatever reason, my suspicions is that gravity changed and their internal organs were crushed by the change in gravity. And this is what led to their extinction. Now, people say, why are there no bones? Well, bones decay, and bones last not that long as people think. We get the impression that they last for millions of years because of fossilization. But if they don't fossilize, we don't find records of them. And therefore the bones of the giants would have all vanished. Especially if there was a tsunami, which is another possibility. If the caves at Gardalam, which I got a camera inside and got some footage of, and all the remnants of like pygmy elephants and hippopotamuses and other animals that were found in there, along with two skeletons of unknown human species, which went back 7,000 years and which were stolen. And that's why we can't find them today, except for a couple of teeth bones. And the academics seem to be obsessed with saying they're Neanderthals. I think there was something else going on there. They may have well been you see, we always think of giants as adults, okay? But there was also infant giants. It could have been the bodies of two babies, or two infants, or two toddler giants. We always think of the giants as a fully grown adult, but we never think of them having children. And there seemed to be an effect, and I'll talk about this further. And the giants are definitely real, but I don't think they were a global thing. Oh no, sorry, I don't think they were everywhere. I think they only appeared in certain places, and there seemed to be a preference for islands: Sardinia, Easter Island, uh, Malta, Ireland. Britain was connected to the mainland Europe, the Isle of Man even, and other places, and as if they were probably a global population that by the time humans came along, they had retreated back to islands where there were no large predators like tigers and wolves and things that could have attacked them. And that seems to be that. Well, I shouldn't give too much away because this will be the film I'll be working on, a separate one on giants in relation to their presence in the Mediterranean. And it's a great subject, and it's one that, like, if you told me like 10 years ago that giants were real, I would say no, they're just metaphors and there's no hard proof. But now I've gone completely 180 degrees on this, and I really do believe in it. And I often think, I'm starting to think now that one of the reasons they say ancient aliens is for that built all these impossible megaliths is because it's another. I used to think, well, I still kind of think that it was a way of degrading our ancient ancestors, and which that's been a horrible thing, going on. But I also think the giants were involved in it. I think that there's a very great possibility that humans employed giants to help them lift the large and by big stones. Because we don't know who these people were who built the megaliths. They left no records. They've decayed with time. And there's other things from an artistic point of view in terms of megalithic art, which I will present in this upcoming film on giants, that will add further clues to this. Being an artist, I was able to uh, examine the aesthetic of the particular designs and artwork used in certain places, and came to the conclusion that one kind of artwork was done to appease larger hands, eyes, consciousness, if you know what I mean. And that to me was the final proof for me, was that the scale at which certain things were produced with a mind that was building it life size, but according to the larger proportions of their life. So therefore, absolutely now believe that giants 100% existed, and I will be presenting information on that. So look after yourselves.